You know, lakes in Texas are really cyclical. Sometimes a lake will be really good and then you won't hear about it for a while. Bass fishing isn't all that great. Well, today we're on Lake LBJ, kind of northern central Texas, and the fishing has been outstanding here. I've heard a lot of great reports. I can't wait to see what happens. Thanks for joining us. This is Fishing and Hunting Texas.
From Mexico to Louisiana, the Red River down to the Laguna Madre, Texas is one big playground. This
There you go.
is Fishing and Hunting Texas. Springtime in Texas. Just as the bluebonnets bloom, outdoors men across the state dust off their shotguns and head to the fields. This week we'll join Clark and fellow Elite Series pro Brandon Polinick in the field on the hunt for a big Texas gobbler. But first, we'll catch up with Clark on Lake LBJ.
You know, we put our boat in here. I haven't fished Lake LBJ in several years. I had been hearing some good reports. I've been hearing that the fishing was good up the lake. I'd also been hearing that there was some vegetation up the lake, and we got up there and there's actually vegetation everywhere.
It's mid-March. Water temps are in the 60s and bass are shallow. Rigging a 6-inch Strike King Ocho Wacky style is a great search bait for this time of year.
You know, we got out there, started throwing a wacky worm around and quickly caught one. You know, say a 2-pounder, 2.5 pounder, and then caught another one. We went along and we caught several, 2 or 3 fish, and then we find a big one. That scared him. And we waited a little bit and it didn't come back, and then as we were leaving it came back, and I started thinking, well, maybe I can catch that. So I throw up there and the fish gets aggressive immediately. I'm just throwing a Strike King jig, Strike King skipping jig, 1/2 ounce, green pumpkin, and I mean, he goes down there and he bites it. I figure he's gonna bite it again. I throw in there again, and he definitely bites it, and he's kind of cruising off with it, and I set the hook, and I realize immediately, I mean, it's a big fish. I mean, big. I foul hooked him. We'll get him up here, and we're gonna let him go anyway. In a tournament, if he's foul hooked like that, he bit it. What had to have happened, the only thing I can think is that he spit the bait out, I set the hook, and then I hook him in the side. Well, most of the time, if he spit the bait out, I would just miss him, and I'd be able to cast in there and catch him again. But when you foul hook him, what are you gonna do? I mean, the fish is hooked well. I'll show you what happened is when I set the hook, she must have spit it out, so it hooked her in the belly. And if you were in a bass tournament, you'd have to let that fish go. But we can smile and take a picture with it and know we didn't catch it appropriately, but still realize it's a great big fish. To me, that was a total downer. It was a giant fish, probably one that was at least 8 pounds, and it could have been even bigger, but I had to let it go. I'd say it's at least 8. It could easily be 9. I don't think it's 10. I was gonna let her go anyway, but that's so frustrating. If I was in a tournament right now, I'd be so mad because the fish went down there and bit the bait, spit it out the first time. So then I missed it. And then I go back in and it bites it, and it looks like it's swimming off with it. I can see it kind of mouthing it. So I set the hook, it must have spit it out, and then I hook it in the belly. That's the way it goes.
Hey, if you've missed an episode of Fishing and Hunting Texas, head on over to OutdoorAction.com. Download the Outdoor Action app and stream anywhere, anytime on your favorite mobile device. All right, coming up, we're back on Lake LBJ with Clark. This episode of Fishing and Hunting Texas is brought to you by Bass Pro Shops and Cabela's. Your adventure starts here. Ranger Boats, still building legends one at a time. And by Garmin. Fight your fish, not your fish finder.
If you want to be here, it all starts here. At Bass Pro Shops and Cabela's, we have the widest selection of the quality brands you love to get you outdoors. Whether you're a seasoned pro or just starting out, our friendly, knowledgeable outfitters will help you find the right products for your next trip. Shop with confidence with our low price guarantee. Plus, club members save even more on great gear with exclusive member pricing. Bass Pro Shops and Cabela's, voted America's best outdoor retailer.
When there's miles of water in front of you and hundreds of feet below, you need a boat with the chops to dominate, no matter the conditions. With the strength and technology to overcome the elements and the competition. Ranger Boats, still building legends, one at a time.
The best of the best just got better. Clearer images, sharper resolution, improved target separation. That's right, better. LiveScope Plus, only from Garmin.
Welcome back to Fishing and Hunting Texas. We're on Lake LBJ with Clark Wendlandt. It's early spring and bass are shallow.
There, you can see the fish in the sun. You know, we're fishing Lake LBJ spring break. I mean, there's just a lot going on. When we put our boat in the water this morning, we really didn't have any idea what to expect. I thought we should be able to catch them really good. I've been hearing great things about it. Lake LBJ, we're on the upper end. I was thinking, hey, it's the middle of the spawn, it ought to be really good. But what I've learned is that you just really never know. And we put our boat in, and I could tell we were gonna catch some fish, caught some fish, mainly on a wacky worm, but I didn't really know if we would catch any big ones. So the way we fished is we just got out there, we kind of realized really quickly that they weren't chasing. You know, we weren't getting any bites on topwater. We didn't get any bites on a vibrating jig like a thunder cricket. We didn't get any bites on a swim jig. And so with all that said, the fish that were up shallow, they were locked down on beds. And so basically what we had to do is just throw a wacky worm. The one thing it requires is lots and lots of patience. You know, as far as color goes, when I'm throwing an ocho, usually I'm throwing something natural, something, you know, kind of green pumpkin or watermelon red, something that actually looks like what those fish are feeding on, bluegill, gizzard shad, something that's kind of light colored, but, you know, more or less natural. You know, there's a ton of boat docks on LBJ. We really didn't catch them around boat docks very good. They're around them, but they weren't up under them. And then I come along and all of a sudden I'm going and I tell Kevin, hey, I just saw a 10-pounder. I got a 10-pounder out here. Yeah, I did. All right. I don't know if it's catchable. We're gonna try. You know, 10-pound bass is kind of a benchmark. It's like what you're hoping to catch. That fish, it's not real aggressive. It kind of stays out on the outside of the bed, but I realize kind of the spot that it wants to be. There's one little sand spot and there's a male there. I don't know where she is right now. Oh, I see her. She's on the left side. Yeah, it is right there. Now she's kind of coming closer to my bait. I threw a jig in there. The female wasn't very excited about it, didn't care. I threw a rage bug, didn't care really. But all of a sudden, the male bites. And when it did, I noticed the female was off the bed a little bit, but the female gets kind of excited and she kind of comes in there. Well, that kind of tells me a lot right there.
You need to return that mic?
Yeah, I'll let you do it. Come off there. I can get that little one to bite it easy now. And so I was throwing a rage bug, and the male bites. I shook it off probably 10, maybe even 15 times. But every time it would bite, the female got more and more excited. And so I was throwing a rage bug, and I got it to bite, I got it to bite, got it to bite, got it to bite. And then finally, I'm like, maybe a jig will work on this one. I pitch the jig in there, and that female's getting excited, and all of a sudden, bam. God. That's a monster. God. No, no. Not under the boat. Come on back. Oh, she can't even jump. Oh. Look at the size of that fish. Oh my gosh. It's a monster. Oh, I got a gallery again. God, what a fish. I'm gonna stick this back in the water. We're gonna get a picture and I'll let it go. We'll talk about it a little bit. 10.95, and I wanna show you one thing. She's blind in one eye. That eye's real opaque. This one's fine. I'm gonna let her go right here. That was awesome. I mean, when you catch one like that, I mean, I don't know why I'm whispering, but I mean, I'm so tore up over the fish. I mean, we caught that one earlier that was an 8-pounder. And, you know, I said it was probably 8. I didn't weigh it, but I had foul hooked it. And I was so disappointed in this one. All of a sudden, it's starting to get more aggressive. I'm thinking, well, maybe I got a chance. I'm thinking I really don't have a chance. I mean, sometimes when you're sight fishing, you don't have any chance. But this one got more aggressive and more aggressive and more aggressive. And all of a sudden, it bit. I set the hook and 10.95. That's pretty cool. One thing I'll tell you right now is that fish was big, thick, long, and giant. That was big. Kevin, we even got to have a fist bump on that one. Where's my hand?
This portion of Fishing and Hunting Texas is brought to you by Strike King Lures and Tackle, Yamaha Outboards, reliability starts here, and by TH Marine, from transom to trolling motor. Fishing and Hunting Texas will be right back.
Everything you need, one legendary brand. Top on, Strike King.
Your time on the water is precious. You return season after season to make unforgettable memories, fight a few fish, reconnect with friends, and recenter yourself. If you count on having this time, you need an outboard you can count on to power it. That's why boaters stay with Yamaha for the long run, for life. They know reliability starts here.
Welcome back to Fishing and Hunting Texas. We'll get back to the fishing in just a bit, but first, we'll head out to the ranch with Clark and fellow Elite Series pro Brandon Polinick. It's mid-April, and for hunters, that means it's turkey time. With a Yamaha Wolverine loaded up, Clark and Brandon have spent the day running and gunning the fields of South Texas, trying to get Brandon in position for his first bird of the season.
I'm pumped up. I mean, last year was the first year that me and Clark Wendlandt got paired up together. Didn't really know what to expect. I've been around Clark on the Elite Series some, on the fishing side, but we'd never hunted together. And we had an absolute blast hunting together last season. And, you know, we kind of have a similar run and gun approach to the way that we like to hunt, right? We didn't just get in a blind and just sit there and wait for the turkeys to come to us. We got on our feet, we moved. That's kind of our game plan.
Brandon, I don't think he's very far. Yeah, and I don't know where we're gonna be able to see him. I think you're gonna have to go right at it. I mean, unless we want to look at the phone and see if there's an opening somewhere. We're kind of running and gunning. Since we're getting later in the day, we're just trying to find another group. And we just stopped here. We're kind of waiting, talking a little bit. Clark let off a call, one gobbled, and I mean, he's right there. It doesn't really look like it opens up. Unless it opens like right there. I think maybe right here. Come right down through that. All right, hang on. You're gonna have to get ready right now. Don't go much farther. Don't go much farther. Coming from her. Make sure you get one. Can't see. Quick. You did? Yeah, yeah.
All right. How's my face?
I would have called that a fun day of turkey.
That was pretty amazing. That was the best day of turkey hunting I've ever had. Maybe not the best day of turkey killing. Like we'd walk 15 feet and then it'd be like, you know, they'd freaking gobble over here and then two more gobble over there and one gobble over here. I mean,
It was crazy.
yeah.
Jeez. You did? Yeah, yeah.
Whether you're gearing up for a hunt or headed to your favorite lake, Bass Pro Shops and Cabela's have all the gear you need for wherever your adventure takes you. All right, coming up, we'll get back on Lake LBJ with Clark. This portion of Fishing and Hunting Texas is brought to you by Umarex Air Guns, Rifles, Pistols, and Accessories. By Record Rack, Serious Nutrition. Outdoor Action TV. Download and stream your favorite outdoor programming. And by Stealth Cam Digital Scouting Cameras.
Plenty of sunshine.
Come on, man, let's roll! What the?
To catch the fish, you need to be one with the fish.
I use Seafoam motor treatment in my truck's gas tank to keep fuel injectors clean, and in my oil to prevent heavy residue buildup in the crankcase. No other engine treatment works as quickly and effectively as Seafoam, my absolute favorite for preventing engine problems or troubleshooting and reviving engines, always.
Help your engine run better and last longer. Go to seafoamworks.com.
Welcome back to Lake LBJ, one of the 7 highland fisheries on the Colorado River chain of lakes just north of Austin. It's spring break in Texas, and the lake is busy with families and kids enjoying a carefree week on one of the more popular lakes in the state. For the fishermen, water temps are in the mid-60s and the big bass are shallow. If you've got a keen eye and a tackle box of Strike King lures, this is the time of year when you can test your sight casting skills and catch the fish of a lifetime. Or just meander around pitching a wacky worm or a range bug over submerged vegetation.
That water is so pretty. Show you what I caught that fish on. That's a Strike King rage bug. It's actually a mid-sized rage bug. It's a good fish. It's a good 3, a little over 3. Ah, very cool. Fish are on the beds, the water's clear, but they're not like gonna chase really good because they're locked down. So what do? Well, I'll have a number of baits rigged because you never know on any particular day what they're gonna chase and what they're not. If they're like some garden fry or some pre-spawn where they might still chase, or if they're all locked down. And so the baits I've been using today, the main one just throwing around as I'm fishing is just a wacky worm. This is a 6-inch Strike King Ocho. I can throw it up under stuff. It skips really well. It's heavy. I've got a really small nail weight. It's a Strike King 1/32 ounce nail weight in there. So it just goes down just a little bit faster. And it really, to me, it all depends on the depth of water that I'm fishing on if I'm gonna do that. And then the baits that, you know, I also might throw around a topwater. This is a Strike King pad perch. This bait's pretty subtle frog. In the water, it basically goes back and forth, but I'm kind of keeping it around those little scum edges. I haven't thrown it a whole lot because I just don't feel like they're gonna bite it. And then the two I've caught the majority of the fish on if they were on beds is this is a Strike King skipping jig with a Rage Craw trailer and a mid-size Rage bug, just rigged, Texas rig, 1/4 ounce weight. This is a 1/2 ounce bait. And you know, it just depends on the fish. Every fish has its own personality. I'm really not done that much sight fishing today. I caught the big fish I caught sight fishing, but for the most part, I'm just throwing around, just kind of keeping my eyes open, paying attention. That's one thing I tell people all the time, whether you're sight fishing or just fishing, pay attention to what's going on. You might see something, you know, a fish splash or jump out of the water and it might give you an opportunity, or you just might, you know, you never know what you're gonna see. And these are the baits that on this particular situation I've got ready. I've always got a lot rigged. You see rods everywhere, but get your sight fishing stuff ready, and I believe It's the right time of year to catch some big fish. Oh.
Hey, if you've got any questions for Clark, check out the Fishing and Hunting Texas Facebook page or visit fishandhuntingtexas.com. Well, that'll do it for another episode of Fishing and Hunting Texas. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll catch you next time.